Most people have a national park somewhere on their bucket list, and most people never make the trip. They assume it's too far, too crowded, or too difficult to plan. But the truth is, some of these places are so breathtaking that even a single afternoon there changes how you see the world. These are the 10 most beautiful national parks in the United States, and by the end of this, at least one of them is going to earn a spot on your calendar. Number 10, Arches. If someone showed you a photo of Arches National Park without telling you where it was, you might wonder if it was real. Sitting 5 miles outside of Moab, Utah, it holds the largest concentration of natural stone arches on Earth, more than 2,000 of them. Landscape Arch spans 306 feet, the longest natural arch in North America. Delicate Arch has basically become Utah's mascot. Avoid summer if you can. Temperatures push past 100 degrees and the trails turn brutal fast. April through May or September through October is the sweet spot, with highs between 60 and 80 degrees. Campsites at Devil's Garden start at $25 a night, and all national parks offer free admission on select days, including Martin Luther King Jr. Day and the first day of National Park Week. When the sun goes down, stay. The Milky Way over sandstone is worth the extra hour. Number 9, Rocky Mountain. One road in this park takes you through 5 distinct ecosystems in a single afternoon. That is not a metaphor. Trail Ridge Road, the highest continuous paved road in North America, climbs through dense pine forest, open meadow, and bare alpine tundra before topping out above 12,000 feet. More than 60 peaks clear that same threshold, and the views stretch 100 miles on a clear day. The wildlife alone justifies the trip. Elk herds graze the meadows at Moraine Park, bighorn sheep navigate cliff faces that would terrify most humans, and in summer, the alpine tundra erupts in wildflowers that seem impossible given how harsh the conditions are. June through September is the ideal window. Get to Bear Lake early. Parking fills up faster than you would expect. If you can catch the elk rut in September, the bugling calls echoing through the valleys are something that stays with you. Number 8, Smoky Mountains. This is the most visited national park in the United States, and it is not even close. The Great Smoky Mountains pull in more than double the annual visitors of the Grand Canyon, and once you spend time here, the reason becomes obvious. The park sits on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina and does not charge an entrance fee, making it one of the rare free national parks in the country. What makes it genuinely special is the biodiversity. More than 19,000 documented species of plants and animals live here. More than any other national park in the US, black bears roam the dense forests. Over 2,900 miles of streams run through the mountains, and the Appalachian Trail cuts right along the ridgeline. Drive up to Kuwohi, formerly known as Klingman's Dome, at 6,643 feet, and on a clear day you can see into 7 states. June through August is prime season, but fall foliage here is genuinely one of the great free shows in American nature. Number 7, Acadia. What if you could watch the first sunrise in the entire country every single morning? At Cadillac Mountain, the highest point on the US Atlantic coast, that is exactly what happens. Acadia sits on the rocky coast of Maine and is the oldest national park east of the Mississippi River, and one of the few on this list where the mountains literally meet the ocean. The landscape is a mix of granite peaks, dense forest, quiet lakes, and a coastline that the Atlantic has been battering for millennia. Thunderhole is exactly what it sounds like. Waves crash into a narrow cavern with a boom you feel in your chest. Rockefeller funded 45 miles of car-free carriage roads through the park's interior, making it one of the best cycling destinations in the national park system. May and September are the best months to visit, and when you are done hiking, Bar Harbor is minutes away with some of the best fresh Maine lobster you will find anywhere. Number 6, Zion. The name literally means refuge, but roughly 4 million people a year have found out about it, so manage your expectations on the solitude front. Zion National Park in southwestern Utah is one of the most visited parks in the country, and the canyon that draws everyone in was carved by the Virgin River cutting through Navajo sandstone over millions of years. Walls rising 1,000 feet painted in layers of red, pink, and cream. The 2 signature experiences here are Angel's Landing and the Narrows, and they could not be more different. Angel's Landing is a heart rate hike, chains bolted into rock, a narrow spine of trail, and a 1,488-foot elevation reward with a full panoramic view of the canyon. The Narrows puts you inside the river itself, walking between walls 2,000 feet high that are squeezed to just 20 feet apart. April through November is the best window when the free shuttle runs through the canyon. Stock up in Las Vegas or St. George before you arrive. prices inside the park jump considerably. Which would you attempt first? The terrifying cliffs of Angel's Landing or the river walk through the Narrows? Let me know in the comments. Number 5. Grand Teton. Most mountain ranges ease you in with foothills. The Tetons do not bother. They rise more than 7,000 feet straight out of the flat valley floor of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with no transition whatsoever. One of the most abrupt mountain fronts on the planet, the Grand Teton summit sits at 13,775 feet, and on a calm morning, the whole range reflects perfectly in the Snake River at Schwabacher Landing. Wildlife here is remarkably easy to spot against the open valley landscape. Bison and pronghorn graze the plains, moose wade in the willow flats, and bald eagles perch in the cottonwoods along the river. The historic barns of Mormon Row sit in the foreground of those jagged peaks and have been photographed more times than anyone could count. Mid-May through late September is the ideal window. If you are driving in with a group, split the $35 entrance fee. It covers the whole vehicle for 7 days. Cyclists pay just $20 to enter. Number 4. Glacier. There is a quiet urgency to visiting Glacier National Park that most destinations do not carry. The glaciers that carved this landscape are retreating at a measurable and visible rate. The park still earns every bit of its nickname, the crown of the continent, but the window to see it in its current form is narrowing. That alone makes it worth prioritizing. The Going to the Sun Road is the spine of the whole experience. This 50-mile drive is a national historic landmark, climbing from forested valleys past glacial lakes to Logan Pass at 6,646 feet, crossing the Continental Divide with views that change every quarter mile. Grizzly bears roam the high country, mountain goats cling to cliff faces above the road, and 700+ lakes sit in colors ranging from deep emerald to brilliant turquoise. July and August are peak season, with vehicle entry at $35 and a complimentary shuttle running throughout the park. Visiting between November and April drops that to $25. If you're ready to see these views in person, I've linked the best current travel deals in the description below to help you plan your trip for less. Number 3. Yellowstone. The first explorer to describe this place in 1807 was dismissed as a liar. Looking at it today, you understand the confusion. Yellowstone sits on top of one of the largest supervolcanoes on the planet, and that geothermal energy pushes through in more than 10,000 hydrothermal features. More than half of the world's total, all in one park. Geysers, hot springs, fumaroles, mud pots. The ground here literally hisses and steams. Old Faithful erupts roughly 20 times a day, but the Grand Prismatic Spring might be the more stunning sight. A vast pool of deep blue, green, and fiery orange created by heat-loving bacteria. Bison herds cause actual traffic jams in the Lamar Valley, and the 1995 reintroduction of gray wolves triggered a full ecosystem recovery that scientists still study today. The park spans 2.2 million acres across Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. Late April through May or September through early October offers the best balance of mild weather and thinner crowds. Camping beats the lodges on price, and bringing your own food makes a genuine dent in costs. Number 2. Grand Canyon. Everyone has seen a photo of the Grand Canyon, and somehow it still does not prepare you. Standing at the rim for the first time, the scale is so far beyond what the brain expects that most people just go quiet. It stretches 277 miles long, reaches up to 18 miles wide, and drops more than a mile deep. Carved by the Colorado River over 6 million years. The rock walls expose 2 billion years of geological history in visible layers, from warm pink limestone at the top to ancient dark schist at the bottom. The California condor, with a wingspan of nearly 10 feet, was pulled back from the edge of extinction and now soars on the thermals rising out of the canyon. The South Rim is open year-round and runs a free shuttle service covering most major viewpoints. The North Rim closes after the first snowfall, so plan accordingly. March through May and September through November are the sweet spots for comfortable temperatures and manageable crowds. Sunrise and sunset are not optional. The light transforms the canyon completely, and those are the hours worth setting an alarm for. Number 1. Yosemite. This is the park that made John Muir fight for the entire national park system. Standing in Yosemite Valley, you understand why. El Capitan rises straight from the valley floor as a single unbroken wall of granite, the most famous big wall climb on Earth. Half Dome looms at the eastern end of the valley, 4,800 feet above the surrounding terrain. These two formations alone have inspired more photographs, paintings, and personal turning points than most countries produce in a lifetime. Yosemite Falls drops 2,425 feet in 3 stages, one of the tallest waterfalls in North America, and in the Mariposa Grove, the grizzly giant sequoia has been standing for roughly 3,000 years. 94% of the park is designated wilderness. The internal bus service is free, and May and September are the best months for manageable crowds and ideal conditions. On select days, entry between 5 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon requires a reservation through recreation.gov. Book early. One visitor described standing in the valley for the first time as feeling like the landscape was looking back at you. That might be the most accurate thing ever said about this place. America's national parks are not just places you visit, they are places that stay with you long after you leave. One afternoon, standing beneath these landscapes can completely change how small, wild, and extraordinary the world really feels. The only real question is, which one are you experiencing first? If you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one.